بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على الرسول الكريم أعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا اللهم آتنا نفوسنا تقواها وزكها اللهم ارحم شيوخنا أما بعد. The praises are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the worlds, and send peace and blessings upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, send his peace and blessings upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And today we're going to go over the fiqh al-Hanbaliya, the Hanbali fiqh, on those that are forbidden to get married to. The ones that are forbidden to get married to, muharrimat min al-nikah. Muharrimat min al-nikah, those that are forbidden to get married to. And this is based on the fiqh al-Hanbaliya, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, as explained by his main student, Ibn Qudamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon both of them. And this is what our shuyukh and ulama, they study throughout the world, and they learn the knowledge and the rulings, the intense rulings on different aspects. And I'm here in Masjid Farouk in Grand Prairie, Texas. I'm joined by the honorable brother, future sheikh, Brother Omar. He's going to be the sheikh in the future. Imam Faisal, and nice brother Kevin. The dawah, gives a lot of dawah. May Allah subhanahu accept from him. We'll be here, inshallah. Those students will be here. And this is the Hanbali fiqh from Fiqh al-Hanbaliya, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and the madhab Hanbaliya. But most of the things are the same throughout the other madahib as well. Okay, so now what we're talking about is the muharramat, the people that are forbidden for a person to get married to. And basically you have two forbiddances. One is where you can't forbid them forever, and the other one is if a person to get married to more than one wife, they can't join the people at the same time. So you have that. So he goes into detail. The sheikh goes into detail about the extensive rulings on that, on the people that are forbidden to get married to. Okay, would you like to be the first one? What is it, Brother Omar, Sheikh Omar? Number one?
Number one?
Yes.
وهن
Yes.
وهن الأمهات
Ummahat. Yes. So the first person that's not allowed to get married to is your mother. Your mother. So that's obvious. Everybody knows that you don't get married to your mother. Incest is not allowed in Islam, so you don't have that. So over here, when they say mother, it means grandmother, great-grandmother, and so on. Everybody before him. So that's not allowed to get married to her. Okay, you want to read the next one? Imam Faisal, number two?
والبنات.
Banat is daughters. So a person, they can't get married to their daughter, or their granddaughter, or great-granddaughter, and so on. All the people going down, that's also forbidden. So that's very straightforward. Everybody, they know that. That a person, they can't get married to their mothers and their daughters. And then you have the issue of stepdaughters. We'll talk about that afterwards. The stepdaughters from that. There's another issue that comes up, and that's coming up later on also. But the daughters means their biological daughter.
What about adopted daughter?
About which one?
Adopted daughter.
And the adoption is not allowed in Islam. You always have to say who the real parents are for the children. You can't say that they're adopted. That's not allowed. But they have something with the suckling, so we talk about that. The person, they might have a daughter from suckling. That's in a future lesson. We'll talk about that.
No, but like here in America, people that get a girl,
yes,
or a boy, either one,
yes,
and they'll raise them up.
Yes.
They call it adoption, but you don't have to give them the same last name.
Yes.
But if you have somebody like that, can you marry?
Well, the thing is, a person, they have to be truthful. It's not allowed to say, they have to call them by their real father's name. Not say that they're their mother or their father. That's not correct. So some people, they're like shocked. They realize, I've been adopted. They're not my real parents, and that's not appropriate. You have to be truthful from the beginning. Tell to the people that they're not your real children. And the other issue is too, if somebody adopts a girl, the person's allowed to get married to her. That's not really her daughter. But that's problematic also.
She has to wear hijab.
Yes. Right, yes. So you have all those issues that come up. Okay, so this refers to the real daughters, the biological daughters. You can't get married to the daughter. You read number three, Kevin, brother. No, Arabic or English, either one.
Siblings.
Yes, siblings, brothers and sisters. What happens is a man, he can't get married to a sister, and a woman can't get married to her brother. That's what that refers to. That's obvious. Everybody knows that. That can't get married to.
Stepbrother or stepsister.
That's problematic. So we'll talk about that afterwards. That might be allowed if they don't have same parent. So
Right.
that's something that a person has to be aware of. So we'll talk about that after. That's coming up later on. Okay, number 4. Which one is it? Sheikh Omar, you want to mention it?
وبنات 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 الإخوة وبنات الأخوات.
Yes, okay. So banatul ikhwatu means your brothers, the daughters of your brothers, your nieces. And banatul akhawat means the daughters of your sisters. Okay, so if a person, they have a brother, and the brother has a daughter, then that's not allowed to get married to her forever. The niece can't get married to the niece. And the same thing if they have a sister and she has a girl, can't get married to that girl either. And when it says banat, it means the grandchildren and the great grandchildren and so on. All those are there, not just the children, the direct nieces, but what you call the grand nieces and the great grand nieces. All those are referred to as well.
For instance, like your sister's daughter
Yes.
or daughter.
Right. Your sister's granddaughter, you can't get married to her either. Everybody descending is not allowed.
What about cousins?
Yeah, cousins are allowed, though. That's different.
Your uncle's daughter.
Yes.
Or your aunt's daughter.
Yes, your uncle's daughter is allowed, but your aunt's daughter is allowed, but not your aunt. So that's coming up later on. So then you read number 4.
والعمات
Mhm.
والخالات. The
Okay.
paternal and maternal aunts.
Yes. So your aunts is not allowed either to get married to. So if you have your father's sister, you can't get married to her, or your mother's sister, you can't get married to her. And in Arabic, they have 2 different words for it. Over here in English, you say aunt, it refers to either one, either your mother's sister or your father's sister. But in Arabic, when you say the father's sister, you say amat. And when you say the mother's sister, you say khalat. So that's the word in Arabic. So that's why both of them are mentioned. Khalat wa amat, wa khalat. That's what it's referred to on both of them. And that's not allowed to get married to
So
them.
all of these women, they don't have to wear hijab
That's right.
when they're your aunts, your
Yes.
your nephew.
The people that you're not allowed to get married to, then they can stay uncovered, but just what normally they stay uncovered, not
Yeah.
completely naked and things like
Yeah.
that. That's not referred to that. Okay, so you have your paternal aunts and maternal aunts, and that also refers to the great aunts also, and like your grandfather's sister, you can't get married to her, or your grandmother's sister, you can't get married to her. So it refers to that as well, and also for no, so that's also not allowed. Your great grandfather's sister and your great grandmother's sister, also those are not allowed. They're paternal and maternal
What
aunts.
about your cousins' children? Wouldn't be no issue, right?
Yes, that's fine. You get married with them. Yeah. Your cousins, yeah, that's fine. You get married to them.
Cousins'
Yep.
daughters.
Yep. Okay, so the next one, what's it say? Number 6. Who was it?
Mothers of wives, mother-in-laws.
Yes. So if a person they get married to their wife, then her mother is forever forbidden for a person to get married to, once they do the marriage contract. Okay? Once they do the marriage contract, they get married to a woman, then her mother, you can never get married to her forever. Even if your wife dies or you separate from her, then she's forever forbidden for you. And likewise, your wife's grandmother, same deal. You can never get married to her again. Once you do the marriage contract with a woman, then her grandmother, you can never get married to forever. And her mother, you can never get married to, her great grandmother, and so on. So that's also the other one. The mother in law, they say, that's not allowed either. Number 6. Then you read number 7, Sheikh Omar.
Number 7, hala'ul
Mhm.
aba'u
Hala'ilul aba'u wa.
wal abna'u.
Okay, the word that they use here, hala'ilul aba, that means the wives of the father, and they use the word halal, which means that it's allowed for them. When their father gets married to a woman, then she's allowed for him, so that's the terminology that they use, hala'ilu. So hala'ilu, the women that are allowed for your father, in other words, your father's wife. So let's say a person, they have their dad, and their dad marries a woman, right? So that woman is forever forbidden for a person. وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا أَزْوَاجَ أَبَائِكُمْ. It's mentioned in the Quran also, for that also.
So that would be like if the father has like 4 wives.
Yes.
So you're like how would you call it? Like your sister or mom?
Yeah, the term is stepmother. It's called. The stepmother. Yes, both of them refers to your stepmother. Refers to your wife's mother, but also refers to your father's wife. If you look in the dictionary, so both the same term is used for it. So your father, if he gets married to a woman, then that woman is forever not allowed for you, and that refers to your grandfather, great-grandfather also. If they get married to a woman, then that woman is forever forbidden for you. You can never get married to her. Halailu aba'akum, but also halailu abna'akum. So if you have a son, he gets married to a woman, and that woman is forever forbidden to you as well.
Daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law, yes. Well, I mean, the daughter-in-law, you could say for your wife's daughter, you say daughter-in-law, but also for your son's wife. So you have both of them, both the terminologies are there. So it's a little bit tricky in English, when you use that term, which one are you referring to? So if you have children, you have sons, and if they get married to a woman, then you can never get married to that woman forever. And this also means your grandsons and great-grandsons. If your grandson, if he gets married to a woman, then you can never get married to her. So that's that one there, number 7.
What about the mother-in-law's daughters? So say the father marries a woman and she has daughters, and that person, can they get married?
Okay, father gets married to a woman.
Halailu aba, the
Yes.
children of the halailu aba.
Hmm.
So say a man, he's married to a woman that there's a father, your father. He
Yes.
marries another wife, a second,
Yes.
different
Yes.
wife, and she has daughters.
Yes. Yeah, you're allowed to marry her. Your stepsister, you can get married
Yeah.
to her. That's allowed,
Yeah.
It's allowed to get married to her. So, a person has got to be very careful to these things.
Yes.
Because Allah says, وَأُحِلُّكُم مَّا وَرَاءَ ذَلِكُم. In the ayah in the Quran, and that's mentioned in the Quran, in Surah Nisa, it mentions all the people that are forbidden. And anybody left over, it's allowed for a person to get married. So that's a person that's left over.
Stepsister.
So if your father gets married to a woman, she is forbidden, that
Yeah,
woman.
she has
But
daughters.
but if she has daughters, and those daughters are allowed for you. No. So that's no. So these. Okay, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. Jazakallah. Thanks for attending the dars. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. You can keep it, brother. No problem, inshallah. All right, inshallah. So yeah, and the difference. Yes. So those are not allowed for you to get married. The people, your wives of your sons and the wives of your father, those are forbidden. Okay, let's go to the next one. John, Sheikh Omar.
وَرَبَائِبُ الْمَذْكُورُ بِأُمَّهَاتِهِنَّ. The
Okay.
daughters of the wives that you had a relationship with.
All right. So what happens is when a person gets married to a woman, and let's say she has daughters, okay? So those daughters are forever forbidden for you to get married to. Is that clear? What would you call that? Your daughter-in-laws, I think? Stepdaughters? No, your daughter-in-laws, not stepdaughters.
Daughter-in-laws?
Daughter-in-laws, Because your wife, maybe she had daughters from a previous marriage, then those daughters are not allowed for you to get married to.
Stepdaughters.
Okay, I mean, stepdaughters, daughter. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe it's stepdaughters.
Yeah.
Think about it. And then those are not allowed for you to get married to them if the children that your wife has, and they become forbidden once you have the sexual relation with a woman. If you just did the marriage contract and you separated, then they're still allowed for you. So that's allowed to do. So let's say you married a woman, okay, and after marrying her, you didn't have the intimacy with her. You separated with her before having the intimacy with her. Then what you can do is you can get married to one of her daughters afterwards. That's allowed to do that. But if you married a woman and had the relation with her, then her daughters are forever forbidden for you to get married to forever. And that's what they mean by raba'ibukum. That's the term that they use. It's mentioned in the Quran.
It says in the Quran, وَرَبَائِبُكُمُ اللَّاتِي فِي حُجُورِكُم.
Yes, allati dakhaltum bihunna, the one that you had, the one that you had relation with. That's what they mean by that. The one that you had the sexual relation with, then they become forbidden. If you didn't have the sexual relation with a woman, then they were allowed for you to get married in the future. Okay, is that clear, Brother Omar? No, Faisal? Okay, inshallah. These are mentioned in the Quran, so this is just repeating the ayah in the Quran that's mentioned there. Yes. Okay, let's go to number 9. Can you read that, inshallah?
number 9 و ويحرم ويحرم
يحرم
ويحرم
Mhm.
من من مرض
من الرضاع
من الرضا ما يرحم من نسيب
من النسب.
من النسب.
Okay, so forbidden from the suckling, from the breastfeeding, is what's forbidden from the relationship. So, for example, if your mother is forbidden to you, but if you have a woman that breastfed you, then she becomes your mother from breastfeeding. So that's not allowed. And it has to be 5 sucklings before the age of weaning. Not the other. That's what's mentioned. It's mentioned in a different chapter who that they are. So those people that are forbidden to you from the blood relations, also from the breastfeeding, are forbidden for you. So your mother, if there's a woman that breastfed you 5 times or more before the age of weaning, then she becomes your mother of breastfeeding, so you can never get married to her. And this happened in the time of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There was a woman, he had breastfed Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and she had a daughter, so he couldn't get married to that daughter from breastfeeding. And the same thing goes for the sisters of breastfeeding. Let's say there's a woman that breastfed you and then breastfed another girl from the same woman. Okay? Then she's a sister of breastfeeding, so you can't get married to her. And let's say there's a woman that has daughters, her blood daughters, and you breastfed from her, then those are your sisters from breastfeeding, so you can't get married to her. So you have all those relations. And there's another whole section on breastfeeding. I have that there's in the future. I'll have to listen on that. That goes into the detail of the things about the breastfeeding, about the suckling. So that's another one. So what happens is just like the relations that you have, the blood relations, your uncles, your mothers and your sisters. Then the same thing goes by the breastfeeding. They become forbidden for you from those also. All
What
right.
do you say about the fatwa from Azhar? They said that if a man works with a secretary, if he drinks the breast milk, then they'll be mahram to each other. What do you say about that?
That happened in one time in the time of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And most of the ulama, they say that that's not accurate. They say it has to be before the age of weaning. And, if you think about it, you got to think about it biologically. The baby, the way, when it starts out, it's small, right?
Yes.
Then it becomes bigger. What is it that makes the baby get bigger? The breast milk, right?
Right.
So he gets nourished from it.
Yes.
So then if you have another person that has that nourishment, what happens? Right? The baby he grows from that, he gets nourished from that.
Right.
And then, so the two are related that way, right?
Oh,
So that's what happens on that. But if somebody is older and he drinks the breast milk, how much bigger he's going to get? Not really too much. So that's the thing to bear in mind, on that. So that's what the ulama they say. They say that it was, that it's not a significant amount, so therefore you don't have the relationship between them. It's before the age of 2 years. That's the way to look at it, inshallah, on that. So if they made that, people they make the judgments, and people they have different judgments. As long as the person they're following the ilm, and they're not following their hawa, then inshallah it'll be fine. Inshallah, it's okay to follow it. Inshallah, if they're going by the ilm, by the knowledge, what they learned, and they're not going by their feelings, then that's fine. Inshallah, Allah willing, inshallah, follow that. Okay, inshallah.
yeah. It was very shocking when they made the fatwa, because people thought that the man was going to drink the milk
Yes.
directly from the person.
Yes.
So they mean like
Yes.
express it in a cup or something.
Yes. Well, I mean, most of the other ulama they don't accept that fatwa.
Yeah.
They say that's off. All right, let's go to the next one.
Number 10.
Number 10. Yep.
وبنات محرمات إلا البنات العامات والخالات. The daughters of those who are forbidden are also forbidden, except for the daughters of the aunts, that is the cousins. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so we talked about that earlier. So you have the granddaughters, they're not allowed, and sisters are not allowed, and the sisters' daughters are not allowed. However, the aunt is forbidden, but the aunt's daughter is allowed. So that's a different issue. That's a cousin. Your cousin's allowed. In Islam, it's allowed for the first cousin or second cousin and so on. So the first cousins are allowed. Even though aunt is not allowed, but her daughter is allowed. That's what they're saying over here. No, this one.
Some people say that when you marry cousins, it leads to bad effects in genetics. So the genetics is not as good. You marry too close.
Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said the most recommended thing is to marry somebody more distant related, not somebody that's closer related. But it is allowed to marry cousins. It's not forbidden to do that. And if you think about it, everybody in the world is a cousin of somebody else. Everybody comes from Adam, so that's the case, from it. And that is allowed in Islam. Um, no, this is the ruling that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave, so we follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah willing, inshallah. But anyway, some people, they study genetics and they say that two people, they have particular genes, and if they mix or something else, something would happen. Right, they have all these things. So that's a different issue, that we talk about that. If a person is going to get married to somebody, and the genealogists, they say that, this person and that person, if they get married, then something's going to happen. But that doesn't necessarily have to be with cousins. It could be with anybody else, So that's a different issue. And these things here, the ulama, they have to make, they have to come up with a ruling for it. But if we look at the classical texts and the texts that came to us, the first cousins are allowed. It's not forbidden to do that. But if some of the ulama, if they say that it is unhealthy or something like that, then certainly a person, they can take that into consideration, inshallah. No?
Adam and Eve, their daughters and sons had to marry each other.
Right. Yes. So that was the case back then.
In that time.
Right. Yes. Yes. So we go by what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. The other things are there too. People, they study science, so they have those issues that are there. So the rules from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is allowed to marry a cousin. It's not allowed to marry a niece. It's not allowed to marry an aunt. That's the ruling that we have. Jazakallah, thank you for the question. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. All right, inshallah. So the daughters of those who are forbidden except for your cousins. Your cousins are allowed. That's what it says, number 10. So number 11. Yes.
ومن وطأ امرأة حلالا أو حراما حرمت
Yes.
على
أبيه
على أبيه وأبناه
Yes.
وحرمت عليه أمهاتها وبناتها.
Yes, okay. So the Sheikh here is saying in the Hanbali school, if somebody did the zina with a woman, did the zina not in the marriage, then what happens is that woman's mother is forever forbidden for the person, and that woman's daughter is forbidden for the person as well. If they committed the zina, that's what this is saying over here. So it's not just in the marriage. When a person gets married to a woman, then her mother-in-law becomes forbidden, but also a person that had the sexual relation outside of marriage, then that mother becomes forbidden, and that daughter becomes forbidden as well. That's what the Sheikh is saying over here. And the thing is, when we look at the rules of the fiqh, normally speaking, we go by that people are following the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in this case, if somebody did something haram, forbidden, then that rule applies also. In that case, somebody had sex with another woman, then she is considered technically as that person's, as far as the forbiddance is concerned, as a wife. So her mother is forbidden for the person forever, and her daughters are forbidden for the person.
So
that's
part
what
of
it's in
this
here.
question,
Yes.
like somebody had a stepdaughter, astaghfirullah, and she's a mahram, right?
Yes.
The wife's daughter.
Yes.
And he did the zina with her.
Yes.
Then does his wife now become divorced from him?
Well, his wife is there first. Okay, the wife is there first.
Yeah.
If he had sex with the woman without marriage, then her daughter is forbidden for him.
Right.
So he had that with him. It was already forbidden.
I'm saying after the marriage took place already, he's married a woman and she has a stepdaughter, and then astaghfirullah, he has met relations with that stepdaughter, which is haram.
Yes.
You know that's haram.
Yes.
Does his wife now, that stepdaughter's mother, does she become separated?
Well, the thing is, I don't want to make the rules over here, but I would say that the wife was there first.
Yeah.
There's nothing that separated them, so that would be there first. And then what he did with the daughter was zina.
Yeah,
and,
but according to
that's
this,
serious.
it's saying once a person had a relation with a woman, even if it's haram, then her mother becomes prohibited to him, right? Permanently.
Yeah, but that's afterwards, That's the person have the relation first, then afterwards. Not if you already had the relation with her and is married to her. That's the case here. Anyway, I don't make these
No,
judgments.
no, I'm not. I want because I know in like some countries, like in Pakistan, they do that. They
Yes.
divorce the woman.
Yes,
If he
if they,
did that
if they,
haram with the daughter, then the
right.
woman.
If they do that, then that's not a valid marriage. That's haram. That's a zina, and the person is executed in Islamic law. So that's something very serious.
Okay.
Person they should not have the relation with the daughter of a woman that they got married to. So that's very,
No,
very strong.
I mean, no, I mean, oh, really? That's
Yep,
execution.
very serious.
Oh, wow.
Because it's not something that that the marriage is invalid and they separate now. This is something that is like very, very strong. There's a person that's forever forbidden for the person to do that, and that's blatant zina. Blatant zina on that. So. Okay, inshallah. So those are the ones that you can't get married to. Then we have the next section where you can't get married at the same time. So we'll cover that after. Did you have any questions or comments, Sheikh Omar? The women that you can't get married to?
So adoption is haram in Islam?
Yes, in Islam, you always have to say who the real parents are. You can't call them. You can't claim that you're their parents. Children.
So what do you do with all the orphans?
Yeah, you tell them that you're an orphan. Tell them I'm taking care of you.
So if I understand, you can adopt it, but you have to tell them that okay, your parent, whatever happened to them, and then
You can pay for them and take care of them and do all those things, but you can't tell them that you're their father. You can't tell them that I'm your real father. You tell them that you're adopted. Tell them that you're somebody else, and I'm just taking care of you.
And call them by their father name.
Right. Yes, that's what's mentioned in the Quran. Yes, uduli abaikum dalika aqsatul iman is mentioned in the Quran. It's more just to say that. So in Islam, adoption is not allowed. You cannot tell a child that you're his real father when you're not his real father. It'll always tell him that that you're adopted. All right. So and these adopted children, they're not forbidden for you too. So that's very dangerous. The person they take a girl when she grows older, the person getting married to her. That's not her real daughter. So that's something that's that's an issue as well.
So you can adopt a daughter and then you raise her and marry her?
Yes, you can get married to her, but when she gets older, then and she's got to wear the hijab in front of you. It's allowed for you to get married to her. And that's not your real daughter. And that's what's mentioned in the Quran too. What happens? Some people they raise up orphan girls, and they can't be just to them. So instead of marrying these orphan girls that they raised up, marry other women. Literally, it says that in Surah Nisa. Yeah.
And also, if maybe, but if this daughter you adopted was baby, and then she suckled your wife breast,
Yes.
then it becomes.
Yes. Then she becomes your daughter from breastfeeding.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the coming up in the other lesson. What happens is the woman that breastfeeds the child, she's a mother of breastfeeding, and her husband becomes the father of breastfeeding. So then that girl that she breastfed, the husband can never get married to her because he's also his daughter from breastfeeding.
But you adopted her.
No, you adopt her, that's not your daughter. But once she does the breastfeeding 5 times or more when she's less than 2 years old, then she becomes a daughter of breastfeeding. After that, So that's coming up in the other chapter. There's a whole chapter on breastfeeding that goes into the details of breastfeeding. Okay, inshallah. All right, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Thanks for the question. So the adoption is good to take care of kids, especially orphans and things like that. But they're not your children. You gotta speak the truth. Tell the people the truth, the reality. Somebody else is their parents. That's what Islam says. Imam Faisal, did you have any questions or comments? Okay. All right, let's go to the next section, the one that you can't get married at the same time.
Is that now?
Uh,
5 more.
5 more minutes. You want to start it? Or you want to
no, let's do the salat because we've got a lot of things to cover. The whole back page is there. So.